Hello friends. So today our topic is Postman introduction, download and installation. So you can visit any browser and then you can use this URL which is available in this slide, and with this URL you can navigate to the official page of Postman, from where you can download the postman.exe file based on your system. Like, let's say you will get the screen something like this for Windows. You just need to click on this Windows 64-bit option, and then you will get a .exe file downloaded in your folder. Now you have to double click on the .exe file to install it on your system. Thereafter, after successful installation, you are going to get to see this kind of a screen. You may get one screen for Postman overview. You can skip those steps. You don't need to sign in to the Postman to get access or to do any practical implementation. Anyway, you might not see these collection as it is created by me in my personal system, so you will not see those things. And after successfully installation, you can ready to use the Postman tool. Now let me explain you what is Postman. Postman is an application platform for building, testing using API. Postman simplify each and every step of the API lifecycle. So as a QA engineer, developer, or any business analyst or any client, you can use Postman to check whether the API created by the development team is working perfectly fine or not. You can also use as a development team or a QA team, you can also use to debug the API. Let's say you are using some application and the API is integrated with it. Now you are facing some issue, you are getting some error. So to debug this API, whatever API was integrated on that particular section of the UI, you can use those API, you can run those API in the Postman, and you can debug it. And with the help of debugging, you can find out what was the actual reason of the failure of the API. So in the previous slide, as you can see, there are many sections in the Postman. Let me tell you one by one. So this one, from this place, you can, if you click on this plus icon, you can create an API request. You will get an option like this to create an API request. From this place, you can put the URL, base URL, endpoints, etc. If you click on this drop down over here, you will get a drop down list from where you can select the type of HTTP methods you want to create the request for. And then in the param section, let me explain you about the param first. So parameters are used to send additional information to the server. So with the base URL, if you want to send some additional information, you can click on this param section, and then in the key value pair, as a key value pair, you have to provide the details, the information, what you want to send with the URL. Thereafter, we have authorization. So for some API, or for most of the API, you need to authenticate. The purpose of authentication is to authenticate the identity of the client who sends the request and verifies whether the client is allowed to access the conduct the endpoint operation or not. So let's say you are going to use Facebook application, and there you must have logged in, signed up first. You must have signed up first to get the access of the functionality provided by the Facebook. So every time you use the Facebook, you have to log in first, right? So for that, we have to authenticate. So there are some authentication service. From this authorization section, you have to select some authentication type, like there may be auth2 or BR token, and many more are there. As per those authentication, you can navigate to the next screen, and those authenticated token will be used for you to verify or to get the data personalized to you. Thereafter, we have header. It is used to send data as a key value to the server. So as per API contract, you will get some information which is basically required for any API request. So those contract will be provided by the development team and it will be used in the header section. Thereafter, we have body. A request body is the data sent by the client to your API. So from this section, body section, if you click on this, you will get multiple options to send data to the with the API request. So what will basically happen when you are going to use any API? Let's say in real time, when you are using Facebook, when you are going to log in with your email or password or username or password, you are sending those data to the server, right? So to how to send those data? So in the format of JSON or any other format, there are many more formats with which you can send the data to the server. So those data can be sent from body section. But in body section, we have multiple options to send data. The first one is form data. It is just like a HTML form you have submitted from front end. Like you can submit data as form data. So you will get a key value pair option here. You can provide the key name and then its value. And those key value will be sent with the API request. You can also send file in the form of data just to have selected file instead of type text. Okay, from key section. That's it. One major thing here I want you to explain that if you want to upload any file, in that case you have to use only form data because we cannot send file from JSON or any like XML or text or any other format from the body section. Thereafter, we have www form URL encoded. So it is similar to form data with the key difference is it is URL encoded. It is also used to send data with the API request to the server. Thereafter, we have raw. Most of the RESTful API require to send data in some specific format, mostly JSON. It also accepts XML, simple text, etc. So we are going to use JSON format in the upcoming tutorials to see how to test any API request. It is the responsibility of the server to encode what type of data sent as a post request. So whatever option you have selected, it is duty of the server to encode like how the data comes with the API request, and then based on those data, it will be processed and it will return some response. Thereafter, we have binary. Binary is designed to send data on the API or server, but you cannot directly enter using Postman. So this is the disadvantage of the binary section. Thereafter, we have prerequisite script. So it contains some JS script which will run before the execution of the API request. So let's say you are going to automate some API with the help of JavaScript. You want some script to be run before the execution of any API request. So in that case, you have to like write an script, or we also have some predefined script available in this requisite script section. You can select those scripts and those script will run before execution of the API request. Thereafter, we have test section. So it contains some JS script which will run after the execution of the API request. Now let's say your API request is executed, you will get some response. So somehow either you are going to validate those API response manually, or you will have one option to write some code with the help of JavaScript, and those code will validate whether the API response is correct or not. So as per your expectation, it will validate the actual result. So these test section will be used in that section. Thereafter, we also have some environment variable. So let's say you are going to use some base URL in each and every request. So base URL will be same for every request. So what we can do, we can create an environment variable, and then those variable will can be called in each and every request with the help of double curly braces. So this is the use of API request. Then you can create a collection. Let's say you have thousands of API requests, or let's say 100 API requests. You don't have to manage it one by one. So what we can do, we can put all the API requests inside a folder, and those folder will be called as a collection. So we have option to create a collection as well. So there are many more options. Like we can run all the API requests as a whole. Like at one time, we can create a collection runner, and then those collection runner will run on the same time. So I will explain you practically like how to create collection, how to create environment variable, how to send a request, how to fetch out the response, how to validate the response in the upcoming videos. For now, this is it.